For this one, when they say g of 4 is equal to 8, 4 is the x value, 8 is the y value. So we can plug those into that top equation like this. 4 squared is 16. If we subtract 24 from both sides, we get that a is equal to negative 1. And this is a distractor, it's not really the answer. Because now we can plug in that x is now negative 4, because they want to know what is g of negative 4. And we also know that a is negative 1. And now we're going to solve this for y. So if we plug in these values, negative 4 squared is a positive 16, multiplied by negative 1 is a negative 16. If we add that to 24, that's like subtracting, and the answer we get is 8. So the answer is A. This one is another if-then statement, so we start here with x is equal to 6, then y is equal to 7. We plug those in. 6's and b's are confusing, but regardless, we end up with 7 is equal to 9 plus b, so b has to be negative 2. Then we're going to plug in again. This time we're going to use x is equal to negative 2 from this part right here. We're also going to say that b is negative 2. So when we plug in both negative 2's like this, we get that y is equal to negative 6 over 2 minus 2, or y is equal to negative 3 minus 2. If you combine those, you get negative 5. For this one, we just plug in for x, negative 3x. So negative 2 times negative 3x plus 5. If you multiply those, the negatives cancel out, and we end up with 6x plus 5, b. So they want to know when is w of x plus t of x equal to x. So what we're looking at is when can this column plus this column equal this one in the left. So if you just start going row by row, negative 3 plus negative 1 is not 1. 3 plus a negative 1 is 2. So there's our answer. 2. If you were to check the others, 4 plus 1 is not 3. 3 plus 3 is not 4. Negative 1 plus 5 is not 5. Here we just plug in that x is equal to negative 1 for every instance of x. So that'll look like this. Negative 1 squared we can replace with just a positive 1. Negative 6 times negative 1 we can replace with a plus 6. And down here in the bottom, negative 1 minus 1 we can replace with a negative 2. Once we combine like terms, we end up with 10 divided by negative 2, and that gives us negative 5. This is a composite function. But when they say h of 0, that means we're plugging in x is equal to 0, and we do that all the way up here. 2 times 0 minus 1 is equal to negative 1. So that's my solution to this part. I replace that, or I substitute that, so I get 1 minus a negative 1, which is really just 1 plus 1, and the answer is 2. For this one, they want to know the maximum value of the function g. If we look at this graph f of x, the maximum value is that 2. This is the highest possible point. Because when they say f of x, that's really like y equals. So we can plug that in here and replace f of x with 2. So 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. And there's our answer. This is just x is equal to 0. And when that is true, we follow up and y is equal to 4. So if you understand what they're asking, they're saying plug in a value that is a positive integer less than 5. So any of these 4 would possibly work. If you plug them in individually, let's say I plug in a 4, 16 minus 16 plus 10, the answer is 10. Let's say you plug in a 3, 9 minus 12 is negative 3, plus 10 is 7. If you plug in a 2, that's going to be 4 minus 8, negative 4, plus 10 is 6. If you plug in a 1, you're going to get 1 squared is 1, minus 4 is negative 3, plus 10 is 7. So any of those answers would work, 10, 7, or 6. So what we're plugging in here is we're saying that x is equal to h minus 3 and y is equal to 0. So this part is equal to 0, and wherever we see this r, we can plug in h minus 3. So if I make those substitutions, my new equation looks like this. If I simplify the subtraction or the addition, what numbers can I plug in to make this true? It turns out if I plug in a 7 here, that part becomes 0, which makes it true. Or if I plug in a 2 here, this part becomes 0, which makes it true. Those are your two answers, 7 or 2. This one is just x is equal to 1, so we plug in a 1 right there. 2 times 1 minus 1 plus 2. That becomes 2 times 0 plus 2, so the answer is B. This is just x is equal to 4 and plug it in. So we have 4 squared minus 5 times 4 plus 6. So 16 minus 20 plus 6, the answer is 2. Here we're just plugging in x is equal to 2. So 3 to the second power is just 9. 3 times 3. When we say f of 0, that means x is equal to 0. If we find that point and we follow it down, here we are at negative 8. When they say for what value of x is h of x equal to negative 2, they're saying plug in negative 2 over here and solve for x. So negative 2 is equal to negative 4 times x minus 1 plus 2. If I subtract 2 from both sides, I get this. Now I would probably divide by negative 4 here on both sides. And this would give me that 1 is equal to x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides, and the answer is 2. Most people would probably distribute here, though. That would look like this. Negative 4 is equal to negative 4x plus 4. Once we subtract 4 from both sides, we get negative 8 is equal to negative 4x. If you divide by negative 4, you still get 2. So we have a story problem here, and when they say x is equal to 2, y is equal to 11, what they mean is 11 is the height in feet, and 2 is what we plug in for t, which is the number of seconds after the ball is thrown. So after 2 seconds, the ball is 11 feet in the air, which best matches up with C. So they tell us in this one that f of x minus 1 is equal to 2x plus 3. If I want to plug in f of negative 3, what value of x can I plug in here to make this negative 3? What minus 1 will be negative 3? So what about if I pick x is equal to negative 2? On the left, I have negative 2 minus 1 is equal to 2 times negative 2 plus 3. So on the left, I have f of negative 3. And on the right, I have negative 4 plus 3, which is just negative 1. For this one, we're going to plug in that x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 18. If we do that, we get 18 is equal to m times 0 plus 18. So 0m just goes away, and this tells us that our b value is equal to 18. So then when we plug in over here that x is 1 and y is equal to 20, we have a b value, so we can plug in all of these and figure out the missing m. 20 is equal to 1m plus 18. So 20 is equal to 1, or when I subtract 18 from both sides, I get that 2 is equal to 1m. So m is equal to 2. That's my slope. You could also probably just look at this as when f goes up 1, when my x quantity goes up 1, my y value goes up 2, so my rate of change is 2. For this one, we just plug in x is equal to 2. So this becomes 5 times 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus 5. So 5 times 4, which is 20. 2 times 2, which is 4. And if we add all those together, we get D.